I'm Garrett Davey. I'm an attorney at McAllister Garfield and a member of the firm's Tribal Cannabis Law Group. McAllister Garfield has experience advising tribes on appropriate tribal business structures and their relative advantages. For example, tribal sovereign immunity is important to our firm as well as to tribes within the context of cannabis businesses, and is an issue that we contemplate heavily, especially with tribes that are located in Public Law 280 jurisdictions. McAllister Garfield has experience advising tribes on appropriate tribal business structures as well as their relative advantages. For example, tribal sovereign immunity is important to our firm as well as to tribes, especially within the context of cannabis businesses, and is an issue that we contemplate heavily, especially with tribes located in Public Law 280 states, where states have criminal enforcement power over areas of Indian country. How a tribe chooses to charter its business, whether it be tribally chartered under tribal law or chartered under Section 17 of the Indian Reorganization Act, has implications to the tribe's sovereign immunity and is something that we consider and advise tribes on with regard to their appropriate business structure. Tribal sovereign immunity is an issue that we contemplate heavily, especially within Public Law 280 states, where states have criminal enforcement power over tribes. How a tribe chooses to structure its cannabis business may have implications on its sovereign immunity. For example, whether a tribe chooses a tribally chartered corporation, chartered under tribal law for example, or a Section 17 corporation chartered under the Indian Reorganization Act, or even a subsidiary of its Section 17 corporation, each of these tribal business structures has implications on the tribal sovereign immunity. And it's important to the firm as well as to the tribes when we advise tribes with regard to the appropriate business structure to meet the tribe's circumstances and to protect tribal members from either civil or criminal liability, as well as to protect tribal assets from forfeiture. McAllister Garfield also has experience advising tribes on the best tribal business structures to meet their circumstances if they choose to attract outside capital or outside technical expertise. McAllister Garfield and the Tribal Cannabis Law Group also have experience advising tribes with regard to federal and state tax treatment of their cannabis businesses. A Section 17 corporation, for instance, receives the same federal tax treatment as the tribe itself, while a tribally chartered corporation, for instance, the IRS has yet to answer this question. There are also state tax issues with regard to tribal cannabis businesses. Many of the state tax issues depend on where the business is located and the customers that the business is serving. McAllister Garfield and the Tribal Cannabis Law Group can advise tribes wishing to enter out-of-state markets. The state of Colorado, for instance, has done away with its stringent residency requirement and has opened the door for outside investment into cannabis businesses within the state of Colorado. McAllister Garfield has experience advising clients with regard to licensing considerations should they decide to enter the Colorado market, with regard to management agreements and management companies to operate any cannabis business within the state. And tribes are well positioned to take advantage of their federal tax treatment when purchasing licenses within the state of Colorado or potentially in other states.